Welcome into Hockey Sense, everybody. How we doing? We apologize in advance. Last week, youth hockey, kids, all that type of stuff. So we weren't available last week to do the show. We'll make that up to you. We'll have 2 shows in a week at some point during the season. We'll figure that out and obviously go all year round as we always do here on Hockey Sense. No show next Friday, the day after Christmas. Right? So Christmas next Thursday, day after Christmas, we won't be in studio. The Blues are home on the 27th and 29th. They head out now to Florida to take on the Panthers and then the Tampa Bay Lightning. So that's where we're at. The Blues lose last night 2-1 in overtime to the New York Rangers. The Blues are now 0-8. 0-8 in overtime and shootouts. I mean, something's got to give here. I'm watching the team last night in OT. They are not creating anything. They're just not connected whatsoever. Robert Thomas had a rush early in overtime. His 2 line mates were going the other way. I mean, literally just circling in the neutral zone while he's carrying it into the zone. And ends up skating into no man's land, and they turn it over. And they just couldn't really get anything going, and we've seen that throughout the season here in overtime. Just think if they had 4 of those points back. Just where they'd be. I mean, they're 3 points out of a playoff spot right now. So anyway, the Blues continue to get points, at least on this road trip. They go 2-2, pick up points in 3 of the games. So that's a positive. We'll see what happens now in Florida. And this team's been a good team on the road all season long. Hope everyone has enjoyed the holiday season so far. You got all your shopping done and you're ready to go. On this edition of Hockey Sense, brought to you by First Community, Pat Brisson is going to join us. He represents Quinn Hughes and Sidney Crosby, a ton of other superstars around the NHL. He's been doing it forever. We're just going to have a good conversation with Pat. And I want to talk to him about the trade. Obviously, Quinn Hughes has gone to Minnesota. He's played a handful of games now, played over 32 minutes in his last game. You got to be kidding me. I mean, this guy's playing monster minutes. It's the most ice time for any player this season that didn't involve an overtime game, just a regulation game. This guy plays over 32 minutes. It's just insane. So we'll see where that goes. Minnesota's legit, man. They're the real deal. And just bringing him on board has just given them a sense of confidence that they can do something special this season. I'm excited to see Minnesota at some point this year. I don't think we've seen them yet, have we? I'm just trying to remember if we've seen the Minnesota Wild so far this season. I can't remember if the Blues have seen them yet. Certainly haven't gone there. So we'll see how that plays out. Jonathan Berggren, welcome to St. Louis. This guy scores a beautiful goal over the shoulder of Igor Shesterkin yesterday. Where are we at with the Blues? We're all of a sudden Otto Stenberg and Jonathan Berggren, just stand out right off the bat. Listen, they're good players. Berggren was a second-round pick for a reason. He has, I think, close to 40 goals, something like that, in his career. He's just 25 years of age. He's got a 15-goal season, a 12-goal season. This guy can put the puck in the net and looks to be a dynamic player. Now, whether or not it's sustainable, these guys are running on adrenaline the first couple of games. They want to make an impression on their new teammates, certainly on the coaches. We saw that with Robbie Fabry. Couldn't get in the lineup last game. Probably needed a little bit of a break. You think about Fabry. This guy didn't have an NHL training camp. It's still almost preseason mode for him, even though he played a couple of American League games with Charlotte. And he gave the Blues some good hockey his first couple of games, and we'll see when he gets back in there. I would imagine he'll play on the trip. You might have Jordan Kyrou back, which is a great sign to get Kyrou back. Hopefully he is returning. He suffered that lower body injury in Ottawa several games back. They could use him. They need some goal scoring. The leading goal scorer on the Blues has 8 goals so far this season? They're the only team in the league that doesn't have a player on the roster with at least 10 goals. So they need to find a way to get that thing going. I know Doug Armstrong spoke to some members of the media recently. We've been trying to get Army on. We just haven't been able to connect with him because of his travel and everything going on with Hockey Canada. So we'll get him on relatively soon and talk about a number of things. I know he addressed some of the trade rumors. It's really no different than what we've seen in any other year. Every year you hear the same rumors involving the same players, and then they start winning games and they hang on to them. And we'll see if that happens again this year. If they don't win games, if they don't get into a playoff position or don't put them in a positive position, then yeah, you're going to see some players get moved. It's inevitable. At some point it's going to happen. But I know a lot of these guys, Shen, the Falks of the world, some of these guys who have been rumored to potentially get moved. Listen, Bennington's another guy who you hear in the trade rumors. Whether that's realistic or not remains to be seen. Not really a whole lot of untouchables right now on this team. If you really look at it, I mean, yeah, you'd say, okay, you're not going to trade Philip Broberg. Maybe you're not going to trade Parayko. Maybe you're not going to trade Robert Thomas, Holloway, some of these guys, Jake Neighbors. But for the right deal, you certainly would. So I don't like to say there's any untouchables here. But I will say, even though, like a Shen, for example, who's got the 15-team no-trade list, partial no-trade list for Bennington and, Falk as well, I would imagine Doug Armstrong is going to treat these guys as if it's a full no-trade. So if he's looking to move these guys, he's going to work with them, much like the Vancouver Canucks did with Quinn Hughes. Now, none of the guys that I mentioned are Quinn Hughes. Quinn Hughes is obviously a superstar in the NHL and deserves that type of respect. I couldn't believe he didn't have a no-trade clause to begin with. It's unusual for a superstar player to sign these deals and not have a no-move nowadays, let alone a no-trade. But you're not just going to move your captain, Braden Shen, to a team or a city he has no interest in going to. And same with Jordan Binnington, who won a U.S. Stanley Cup just a few years back. You would want to make sure you put them in a situation where they're going to be happy, in a situation where they want to go to. If we get there. I mean, the Blues are 3 points out of a playoff spot. Who knows? I'm kind of curious to see what this lineup is going to look like once they do get a couple of these guys back. Snuggerud, who's now skating, by the way. Kyrou, who has been skating. You get these guys back, and you might get Kyrou back before the Christmas freeze. They have 2 more games coming up in Florida. You get him back for one of those 2 games. If not, they're certainly going to return right after the break. And I'm just curious to see what this team looks like then, because they've been playing some much better hockey. The goaltending's been really, really good, especially with Joel Hofer. And I think it was a good reset for Jordan Binnington. He needed to take a step back, take a deep breath. This guy's been through that before. But the Blues can't score goals. And what I see a note last night, 20 of the last 36 games for the Blues, they've scored 2 goals or fewer. I mean, that's just unbelievable to me. Can't score. They should have scored 3 or 4 goals last night. They had chances in front. They had chances in the slot. And they can't finish. Breakaways, the previous game against Winnipeg, one-on-one on the goaltender. They couldn't solve Connor Hellebuyck. I mean, those are 2 good goaltenders they faced in back-to-back games in Hellebuyck and Shesterkin, but still no excuse. Hofer was unbelievable. Binnington pretty much just as good. Just allowed the 2 goals in the game. Obviously, the overtime one. Defensive coverage issue in the defensive zone. Man-on-man, 3-on-3. For whatever reason, they lose the board battle, and then JT Miller finds himself wide open in the slot. He just snaps it home. It was a good shot by JT Miller. Man, that's where we're at. But again, that was an important point for the Blues to get, and even a bigger point that they left on the table, man. You would have loved to get 2 points in last night's game. You could sense the frustration from Jim Montgomery in the second period. You could just tell he was trying to get his guys to dig in and really get going because the game got away from them. They're taking too many penalties now in the second period. That's disrupting their flow. That's disrupting their 5-on-5 rhythm. And it's tough to get that momentum back when you lose it. When you have it and then you lose it, it's tough to get it back in an NHL game. And I think we saw that the last couple of games, even though they were able to win in Vancouver, against Winnipeg. So the Nashville games were just so disappointing. Just the fact that you're getting blown out essentially in both of those games against a team that's below you in the standings. It just shouldn't happen. But it is what it is. The Blues are lacking natural offensive finishers right now. I mean, Robert Thomas has had a ton of chances. I mean, this guy needs to finish. It's really that simple. He's hit the post. I know he's had some bad luck here and there. Buchnevich, same thing. But you got to score goals if you want to win. These are the guys who are paid to score and make a difference. They're on the ice all the time. So they've had their chances and just haven't been able to capitalize. I got to say this about Otto Stenberg, though, man. This guy looks like he's played 250 or 300 games in the league already. I mean, I love the way he plays. Just so cerebral. Watch how often he's scanning the ice and he's shoulder checking and just aware of his surroundings. Knows when to chip pucks in, knows when to change. He had like 19, let's go back to the Winnipeg game. I think he had 19 shifts in the game, but he only averaged like 42 seconds. Like this guy per shift, this guy understands those details that you hear about, the coaches speak about all the time, right? Some of those details are when to change and, putting the next guy who's coming over the boards in a good spot. He's got a good understanding of that. He's almost a better player, I think, in the NHL than he is in the American League. He's a better fit with better players. And there's a lot of guys right now saying in the American League who are playing down there saying, yeah, me too. I want an opportunity. I'd be better with better players too. But now, just in terms of the way he thinks the game, I like how Jim Montgomery put it. Some players are drafted in the first round because of their stature, because of their size. Everyone loves size. And for others, it's maybe because of their brain and their hockey sense. And that was certainly the case for Stenberg. But he has some offense to him. And he can get into the mix, man. I love how he had a little body contact last night when the Blues were about to go on the power play. Jake Neighbors jumped in there. They could have used Neighbors on the power play there. But he jumped in, had his back. I like it when they stand up for one another and have each other's backs. Those are always important. So that was good to see. But I like a little feistiness, a little gamesmanship from Otto Stenberg. So this guy's going to continue to play. Him, Dvorsky. Dvorsky's still learning, right? There's some things defensively that I know the coaches are kind of getting in his ear about when he comes back to the bench. Just those subtle reminders and that his consistency that he's got to find, because we all know offensively with the puck on his stick, this guy's skating as well as he has all season long. He's making plays and looks comfortable. And he's found a nice combination there with Pius Suter. Whether or not Berggren gets back on that line remains to be seen. Berggren finished the game yesterday with Thomas and Buchnevich, and I would imagine he's going to start the game against Florida tomorrow on the same line where he finished the game against the Rangers. The Rangers are just okay. They're not that good. That game was there for the taking, but the Blues weren't able to finish it off. The World Juniors are starting in a couple weeks. We look forward to that just the day after Christmas. I say a couple weeks. Next week, the World Juniors get started. The Blues will have 3 players participating in the World Junior Championships this year. For those who are curious, they should have had 4 because Justin Carbonneau, I don't know. I mean, he was leading the queue in goal scoring. He's now 3rd in the queue in goal scoring now, and they've had some injuries on that team and whatnot. But he was leading the league in goals. He was like a goal per game, not a point per game, but a goal per game at the time, and couldn't make the World Junior team. But I was talking Sam Castorino. Am I saying his name right? Sam. I always call him Sam, right? TSN, World Junior Analyst. Sportsnet, I should say, not TSN. Sportsnet World Junior Analyst. You see him on TV all the time. Does some stuff on NHL Network. I asked him, I said, hey, was that the right decision to leave Carbonneau off? And he said, probably. They had other goal scorers and other players who kind of do what he does. So I guess it remains to be seen. But Carbonneau's going to be a good player. Adam Jirasek, who was the OHL Defenseman of the month back in November, he's going to his 3rd consecutive World Junior. Can't wait to see him play. This guy's been unbelievable. I was talking with Jay McKee, who's his coach in the Ontario League, and he is going to join me here, I think, on our next recording of Hockey Sense, probably in 2 weeks, because we're not going to have a show next week, the day after Christmas. So we'll get into Jirasek, and that'll give us some time to watch him play in the tournament too, and just get an idea of what he looks like. He looks spectacular. I mean, my prediction is that I don't know if he or Carbonneau are going to need time in the American League next year. Both those guys may go straight from junior to the NHL next season. And you're starting to hear the whispers now about Adam Jirasek, the comparisons. They're throwing the name Alex Pietrangelo out there, and that's a name that I used back in training camp. He kind of just gets around the ice like Petro, not overly flashy, has some good size, good first pass, very instinctual, knows how to handle himself in the offensive end of the ice, but just scans the ice and just has tremendous hockey sense. That's Alex Pietrangelo. I don't know if he's going to be as physical as Pietrangelo. He's going to fill out the way Pietrangelo did. Maybe he will. But again, some people are using Alex Pietrangelo as a comparison or a comparable for Adam Jirasek. So we'll see. So Love Harenstam, the goaltender, he was drafted last year. He'll be in the World Juniors playing for Sweden. Adam Yeko will be playing for Czechia. He was in the World Juniors last year. This may be his 3rd World Juniors, trying to remember. At least his 2nd, and then Jirasek playing in his 3rd. All right, we'll get our conversation going with Pat Brisson coming up here in just a minute. Looking forward to that conversation coming up. There's no doubt. All right, First Community brings us Hockey Sense each and every week here, live from the Half Coast Studios. Pat Brisson coming up. If you're ready to buy a home, you'll need a home loan. But what's the best kind of home loan? Most people would say they want a 30-year term to keep their payment affordable, plus a great rate, low closing costs. First Community has that loan. The Members Best Home Loan has a rate of 6% for a 30-year term, and at First Community, no fee for the application, processing, or closing of your home loan. You got to love that. Apply today for your Members Best Home Loan. Terms and conditions apply. Call toll-free 1-888-642-7969. 888-642-7969, First Community. All right, Lordo's Diamonds, get in there right there in the heart of the dew. Get that special someone something special for the holiday season. You're looking to pop the question, no better place to get that engagement ring. Go in there, check it out. You walk in there with a $500 budget or a $500,000 budget. Listen, you're going to get treated exactly the same by Mike and Jimmy. Lordo, they are the best. Get in there, get there today. Get something for the wife. Listen, they all love jewelry. You got daughters in the family. You have sons in the family. They got great watches, rings, bracelets, everything you're looking for. Lordo's Diamonds right there in the heart of the dew, 314-432-8008. LordosDiamonds.com. Dirt Cheap Fun, your one-stop party shop. Download the app today and get those deals, man. Those deals are so good they call them steals. Free delivery when you use the promo code BLUES as long as you live within 10 miles radius of a Dirt Cheap location, which I guarantee you that you do. There's locations everywhere. They got the best selection of beer, wine, and booze. Nobody does it better. Great deals on blues game days as well. Don't sleep on the cigars, and don't sleep on the party supplies either. If you're having people over, New Year's parties, New Year's Eve, Christmas Eve, holiday parties, get all the paper goods and everything else you need, decorations, all that at Dirt Cheap. You can't miss it. They have everything. Best selection, beer, wine, and booze. Are you hosting for Christmas Eve? Are you hosting Christmas dinner? Get everything you need at Dirt Cheap. Fun, your one-stop party shop. Cheap, fun. Gotta love it over there with Dirt Cheap. Blue No Roofing, David Novak, 314-920-5713. Call David Novak today. Get that free estimate. I guarantee you he's not feeling great today after that overtime loss. But again, 3 out of 4 points over the course of the back-to-backs. All isn't bad. 3 points out of a playoff spot. The Blues are in reality in a decent spot. I mean, it's amazing that they're in the spot they're in. Now they got to take advantage of it. Still haven't had that run where they win 3, 4, 5 games in a row. That is coming. At some point this season, they're going to do that. David Novak will be happy. Roofing, gutters, siding, soffit, fascia, whatever it is you're looking for. Call him today, David Novak. Pat Brisson, super agent, joins me next. I'm Andy Strickland. This is Hockey Sense, brought to you by First Community. Stay with us. All right, great to have Pat Brisson with us. Super agent, Pat. I'm trying to remember the first time I met you, Pat. I don't know if it was when you had Eric Johnson here in St. Louis when he was the first overall pick. It had to be before that. You had Brad Boyes, who was here in St. Louis.
Yeah, Brad.
You've had a number of guys who have come through here, right?
Yeah. We met, I would say about 20, 25 years ago. You're right, about Brad Boyes, I think. And then Johnson was first overall in 06. And
now EJ's a TV star. Tell him to calm down. With
I texted him this morning. He's a TV star. He's doing something now. He was doing a review on
a restaurant.
Come on. I mean, you gotta have your own TV show pretty soon. He's great. I'm not worried about him. Worried about him. Let's put it this way.
Hey, who's the first client you ever had?
First client I've ever had is Luke Robitaille. The story there that Luke and I played junior together and all that. And then when I moved to LA, I lived with Luke for about 5 years. And then I was doing some marketing deals for him. I started doing that stuff for him. And then Steve Duchesne, my ex-teammate as well, lived right around the corner from us. And I started working with Steve doing his marketing. And then from there, quickly again, I was a good friend with Mario Lemieux because I played against Mario in juniors and we know each other pretty well. And then Mario had just selected Tom Rich as an agent, Tom and Steve Rich. Fortunately, Steve passed this summer. But Tom was a famous baseball agent that Mario had hired. And then Mario put me in touch with Tom and I met with both of them. And that's how we started the business. I mean, I was a hockey guy, fresh out of the locker room and understand players and all that. And Tom and Steve were exceptional, smart, brilliant agents and a lot of experience. So that's how it started in the early 90s.
And you're still doing it. I mean, you still have the energy to recruit and do all that. I know you probably have people who do some of that for you, but you know, how has the agent game, how much has it changed, Pat? I mean, since then, I mean, geez, man, it's changed. It's gone full circle now, right?
Yeah, it's a completely different game now. I still have the energy. Yeah, I do. I'm having fun. You know, if you're not having fun, if you don't like what you do at one point, unless you really have to work, that's not fun, and I'm having fun. I love to help our young agents, grooming them as well, and our young team. And I mean, we're 32 people worldwide, but I do love still recruiting. I'm involved with all facets of our business. I delegate a lot more, I would say, than the past, but I'm involved. And I learned something actually from Coach K, who at Duke University is a client of CAA, and he came to speak to us about 10 years ago. And he said, if you're not having fun, then it's not fun. But more importantly, is if you don't adapt to the young generations, if you don't adapt to what's especially now. I mean, what used to take 6 years to change, now it's six weeks. If you don't adapt, you're as good as gone. And I took that very seriously about 12 years ago. And I said, geez, if I really want to do this for a long time, if I want to be in this business for a long time, I better adapt. And so I learned how to do that, and I'm enjoying it. And I learn every day. I mean, so the business have changed. Yes. I mean, we're involved. Like I tell people, like, people think that all we do is contracts and contract negotiations, and we're only busy during the summertime and trade deadlines and all that. And I would say 5% of my responsibilities are contract negotiations, and 95% else is everything else. From client retention, player development, marketing, medical files, mental and physical. It's extremely important to be dialed with the right doctors and right people. So it's a constant, wheel that is turning all day long. And so I get up in the morning with a task list, and by noon, my task list is upside down because I got a bunch of curves coming in, especially on Monday mornings.
So the marketing side of it, I'm curious, like how much you do from a marketing standpoint and where you think it's at right now with NHL players. I know here locally, and it's different. Like, I mean, the agents aren't here in St. Louis. I've helped more players, uh, whatever they need. It could be
Yeah,
roofing on their house, cars, or whatever. And
yeah,
sometimes I'll say, well, doesn't your agent help you with this? Or somebody looking for marketing. I get players say, hey, I want marketing deals. I want to get involved and do some commercials and stuff. I mean, well,
yeah,
isn't your agent helping you with that? And they're like, oh, no, not really. So, I mean, like,
yeah, yeah.
where do you think that's at right now with the NHL, with players, just in terms of getting more visibility, not only on the national level, but in their local markets too?
Yeah, no, it's a good question, Andy. I mean, it's definitely growing. I mean, social media now, it's part of the world, and our young generations, from the Macklin Celebrinis or Gavin McKinnos of the world, or the Jack Hugheses, they're younger, they're more. I call it branding 101 for us. I mean, I have an off ice team. I mean, we're 7 people off ice working full time for what you're talking about, from dinner reservations to trying to find a dealership that could potentially land a car to a player. Not every market will do it, but all kinds of different things like that. Most importantly, I do believe that if you want to grow your profile in social media, that's how you're going to be able to benefit financially. I mean, it used to be prints, it used to be billboards, it used to be based on whether you're a great hockey player or not. If you contribute, if you're 50 goal scorer on the ice, you are getting an automatic TV commercial. Now those days are gone. I mean, it's important to be good on the ice, don't get me wrong, but if you do provide the right content off the ice and content in social media, you might benefit more. We were just talking about Eric Johnson a second ago. Eric's going to be one, I do believe, even if he's not the young entry-level player, who will be able to grow his brand and can capitalize off ice, perhaps more than when he did play.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, I'd like to see more players take advantage of that. Although, not to get off topic, I mean, there's teams that really, I think, handcuff players a little bit. They don't really allow them to kind of really, brand themselves. I will say one team, the New York Rangers, for example. I mean, they don't even allow their players to come on podcasts. I mean, we've had situations lined up with JT Miller and different players, and he's like, I didn't know, man. Apparently, we're not allowed to do podcasts. So I wish some of these teams would allow these players to be a little more visible, because it would help them, but helps grow the game too, Pat.
For
You know that.
sure. For sure. It's all about revenues. I mean, the players are getting 50% of the revenues, and we're growing the pie. And teams are much easier to work with. I mean,
Sure.
the old school approach, like you can't do this, can't do that. Saying, I mean, it's a different world. I mean, they collaborate a lot more with us. They work a lot more with us, and quite frankly, yeah, they're the young generations. They're the ones um, changing the world,
Yeah.
basically. And
Yeah. Hey, what's the biggest deal you've ever done?
the biggest deal in terms of financially,
Well,
or
I mean, you're limited with the term, right? I mean, I guess you weren't before, but now it's a max. It will be 7 years. It has been 8 years, but I guess financially, right? Who's the biggest contract you've signed
I would
a player
say
to?
was Nathan. Nathan. Oh no, Jack Eichel. 8 years lately at 13.5, and
Yeah.
before it's 12.6. But um, yeah, these are the pie's growing. The cap is going up. Even though there's going to be 7 year deals. The AAV is going to go up. We're going to see some players in the next 24 months, in my opinion, they're going to be at 20 AAV wise, which is just, again, it's a big number. Yes, it is a big number, but it's a percentage of the cap. Everything's going up. And I mean, you go to the grocery store, milk, everything is more costly. So,
Yeah.
and I'm not comparing. What I'm saying, it's a
No, I
percent.
got you.
You know what I mean? And so,
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Because everyone made a big deal, right? Because Kaprizov, like he signs a 17 million per year, he gets that AAV, but like,
yeah.
and you can't compare his deal to McDavid's deal. I know you didn't negotiate either deal, so I don't know how much you can say about it, but it's like, different situations. Some guys, hey, are willing to take less. Maybe you get more money if you sign a longer term deal, and you're going to get more money as a result of the length of the deal, right?
Yeah, I mean, again, we didn't do a McDavid's deal, but I do respect what he did and why he did it. I do understand when I'm reading through the tea leaves why he did it, and he made a lot of money in his career so far. He had made probably $140 million if you count his contract with endorsements. So for him to do a 2 year deal and just say, hey, this is I'm putting my best foot forward.
Yeah.
I want to win a cup here. I want to be like Mario, like Wayne, like Sid. I want to win probably where I got drafted. He's one of those greats.
Yeah.
Like Nathan did get drafted by, he wants to do the same thing. And therefore, he gave the Oilers an opportunity to, you know, put the best team possible in order to do this. And if it doesn't work out in the next couple of years, I'm pretty sure he's going to make different decisions. And so I respect what he did. Some other players who haven't made their money, they have to go for their security, their money. I get that as well. So, and I do have other players where an extra 500 grand a year won't change their lives. And they've made a lot of money. They want the pieces. They're happy where they're at. We have to respect everyone's situation and
Mhm.
why they're doing it. I can go on and on. Each contracts that we do, they're different, and sometimes we apply more focus on the terms. Sometimes the AAV. Sometimes there's so many pieces that as we craft these contract, we make sure that first and foremost we work for the client and what's important to him.
All right, so a guy like Sidney Crosby, you negotiated, every single one of his NHL deals, but like, he came in at a time, right, coming out of lockouts. I mean, the salaries weren't crazy. He's always been underpaid, but just because he's so great, and maybe in comparison to where the salaries have gone now, has the money ever been that important to him? Like, is he such a low maintenance guy that it's like dealing with negotiations with a guy like Sidney? Like, describe what that's like.
Well, he's a very comfortable and very logical guy, and in the sense that when he came out of entry level, he did take about 16% of the cap. 8.7 times 5 at the time was the equivalent of
Yeah.
today's 16 million a year.
Percentage
So,
wise, yeah, you're right.
so that's what Sidney took 8.7. I remember the reason why we took 8.7 times 5 the first time was because, if you recall, the Penguins were for sale. They're selling again, but
Yeah.
they were for sale. They weren't sure if Mario and Ron Burkle weren't sure if they were going to keep the team at the time. So we decided let's do 5 years to make sure. And then, but he took I believe it was 16%. So essentially, Sidney took about 17 million a year. And the same Sidney Crosby today, 5 years would take 16, 17 million a year. That's what
Mhm.
he did. Now, the second contract was after concussion. He had a concussion, major concussion. Remember, he missed a year.
Yeah.
And that time, we had a lot of concern, and he came back. He played 18 or 20 games. His contract was not insurable anymore for an extension. So the conversation was about, should we do shorter term? Should we do? I mean, honestly, I didn't know if Sid, another concussion, he might have been done because he was out for 9 months. And the conversation, everything changed. We spent a lot of time together here in California during his rehab and all that, and we're talking about it. And it was at a time where you could do a longer term. So he was 25. We at first had agreed to do about 8, 9 years, and our average was about 11 million a year at that time. But now with this looking at the landscape, I remember he said, "Well, you know what? At 35 years old, if I still play, what kind of player am I going to be?"
Hmm.
And we added 3 years, and we made it to 12 years, 12-year deal because that's what we were able to do back then. And then we lowered the AAV and we start playing with the numbers. We're close to 8-7 again. Why don't we do 8-7? And that's exactly. But if the deal was front loaded, Sidney got $98 million over the first 9 years. So, and then at the tail end of that contract, he looked at, he could still perform, he's still playing great and all that. So, geez, I can still play. He was only making $3 million. His AAV was 8.7 upside down, but his intention was the right intention at 25 years old. Am I going to play 36, 37, 38? So, and then the last one was very simple. He's made a lot of money. Wanted to make sure that if the Penguins become a contender quick, that extra 4 or 5 million that he could make a year would go to a player. He wants to win another cup,
Yeah.
and wins another cup, he's going to want to win another cup, and that's how he's approaching everything. So,
Yeah, and not everybody's like that though, and that's what separates him from a lot of guys though, man. He's
he's
thinking about the
unique.
team.
Yeah, I think about the team, and like I said, he's very, very content, very comfortable. I mean, he doesn't have to worry. Sidney Crosby, after hockey's over, is going to be able to make as much money as well.
Yeah,
I'm not worried about him.
yeah. It's like McDavid. They're like, I can't believe he only took 2 years. This guy still makes. He'll make as much money as he wants for as long as he wants to off the ice. I mean, these guys have that ability, and Wayne Gretzky's still doing that, so they'll be in the same situation. Well,
Yeah.
what about Crosby though? Like, I know you've made some comments publicly about it before. I mean, like, what's his mindset, you think? I mean, he wants to win. Now they've got ownership issues going on there. The team's for sale in Pittsburgh. Could you see him ever potentially exploring an opportunity elsewhere?
Well, right now the team is for sale or sold, or apparently it's just it's going through another transaction.
Yeah.
He's completely focused on winning. I mean, the team started off pretty strong, and the goal for him, that's all he wants to hear about is to try to bring his team into the playoffs. And now in a couple of months we'll have the Olympics. Focus will be, that as well. Try to win gold. What I said publicly at the time was just we like to see a player like this in the playoffs, and hopefully the Penguins will be able to be good enough to make the playoffs. It's still early this season. There's what 30 games played so far, something like that. Anyway, but he's just focused on trying to winning it, and the team is actually going in the right direction. Not maybe in the last few games, but if we look overall, the standings are pretty tight around the league. So
Yeah, especially in the East. Yeah, I mean it's
yeah,
crazy, and the
yeah.
West too. But like in the East, I mean, all together, everyone's all bundled up. How long do you think he'll play for? You think he's got 4 or 5 years left in him? I mean, like,
Oh, yeah, I'm so impressed with him. I mean, the way he maintains and he takes care of himself. I mean, he's still so efficient out there. I wouldn't be surprised if he plays another 2 or 3 years after this year. I would not be surprised, because of knock on wood, he's taking care of himself and he's got amazing genetics. It's not easy at 38 years old to be at playing at the level that he is playing, over a point a game too.
you say genetics. It's coming from.
Oh, well, the genetics, I do believe. I mean, you could do. I do believe in the genetics and the gift of God in a sense. You can eat very well and go to bed early and do red light therapy, do all that. But at the same time, you need the right, you need the right something else that you need. It's we're probably going to find out eventually how how and why people live longer and do
Yeah.
things long.
Come on, Pat. If it was that easy, I would have played in the NHL if I could just go to sleep early and eat well,
Yeah.
if that's all it takes. I wish I would have known that, right? No,
Oh yeah.
he's a freak of nature, man. I love
Yeah.
watching him play. Huge fan of Sid, on and off the ice, man. He's been so good for the NHL, and all his teammates love him. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing. You talk to guys who play with him.
The
He's
respect.
oh yeah, he's got it from everybody. All right, so Quinn Hughes, he gets traded to Minnesota, and maybe that was a little bit of a shock. I mean, you can tell us now, was Minnesota always interested, or Billy kind of presented it like maybe it just kind of came in at the tail end. But did you guys have your eye on Minnesota? When did they become a realistic option for you?
Uh, Not really. I mean, Minnesota is always a good destination, but no, I would say, like Billy said, pretty much towards the end. I mean, this was about a 3 weeks marathon, I would say, and most predominantly Jimmy and Patrick, they were talking to teams on the East Coast, and then Minnesota came. I would say the last 10 days or so prior to the trade. So with and Billy, like I said publicly too, and then the Canucks handled this thing extremely well with us, as if we almost had a no trade clause. I mean, they were fantastic communication level, and um, if Quinn didn't like or didn't want to go to Minnesota, I almost believe that the Canucks wouldn't have traded there, although the package was fantastic.
But
So
did they ask you? They come to you and say, "Hey, would you go to Minnesota?" Like they ask you that
well,
question?
we were communicating on a
Yeah.
day-to-day basis, and this is a place that Quinn felt very comfortable with based on the conversations we're having with the Canucks and the fact that Billy G came strong, and Quinn looked at the team also where they're at, and their core players are signed and they're going the right direction, and he's been very excited to be there so far, and he wanted to have a great hockey experience, and then from there see where it's going to take him.
Yeah, he played over 32 minutes in his last game,
I
something
know.
like that.
I saw that.
It's crazy. Come on,
I
calm
thought,
down over there, Billy. Like you got to save his legs, save his legs. Um, do you think beyond this year with him? Like, I mean, like, do you guys discuss that? I mean, I know you got to get there and see if he likes it and all that. I mean, they gave up an awful lot. It's a risky move to make if you don't know if you're going to keep him or if you don't win. But
yeah.
it's a calculated move. And I talked to Billy. I thought it was a great. I mean, they're at a better spot today than they were prior to the trade in terms of being closer to winning, but just by having him on the team, so it made sense. But
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, in order to win, you got to push the envelope, and then some teams have a certain window open, and some teams their windows closing down, or now not yet open. So I would say right now, Minnesota, their window is open now to add, and Billy gave him credit for going that hard. At the same time, I do believe that you're paying a certain price for an asset like Quinn Hughes, who's a superstar, one of the best players in the NHL, and he's still 26 years old. So if it doesn't work out where the player wants to be rerouted, so to speak, he's still going to get a lot in return. You're investing $1, your dollar may turn out to be $1.50, but worst case scenario, I think it's 80 cents in a dollar. Really worst case scenario. I rarely see an asset like this walking out the door free at the end of the year. Like, Mariner last year in Toronto was a different story.
right.
I guess he had no move. They decided to go for it without moving him or extending him. I wasn't part of these conversations, but when you have such a great asset, if that asset's not extended or traded, you risk of losing a lot.
Mm-hmm. Well, what's your take on no trade clauses? Like, I mean, I was surprised when I had learned it was a few weeks before Quinn was traded that he didn't have a no move. You just assume every superstar player has one. You did the deal without a no trade or a no move. Was that wasn't a big deal in the negotiation?
It was out of entry level after he burned a year. He was a 10-2C, and we did a 6-year deal at that time. And of course, I want no trade clause. I want no move clauses when you can negotiate that in. At the time, I didn't have the leverage, we weren't in a position to get that that extra year, and he's 26 right now, so his last year he would be, Dean, because you have to have 7 years of services in the league or be 27 in order to have the
Right.
lane. And so, but currently we didn't have it. So of course, when you do have the leverage out of entry level, sometimes it's not every player has. The leverage. I'm not saying I didn't have the leverage. We did get a good contract, but we didn't have the no. Well, that's what I'm saying. Relationships important. We have a great relationship with the way things were handled, and I couldn't be more pleased to how the Canucks handled the situation with us.
Yeah, a couple more things for you, and I'll let you go, Pat. Appreciate your time. But when Jim Rutherford came out and said he wanted to play with his brothers, and right away I was like, listen, Quinn's the big dog. I mean, if they all want to play together, then Jack should come to where he's at. He shouldn't follow them anyway. I mean, they're both superstars, but obviously Quinn's just on a unique level in terms of how good he is. And Jack's there too. He's just got to, obviously stay healthy. But when that came out, like, did that catch you off guard? Were you surprised to hear that? And like, how true is that? I mean, is that something that they really want to do at some point in their career? Is that important to them?
Well, they're three brothers. They're three star brothers. I mean,
Sure.
Luke's a hell of a player for a 22-year-old, and so they're in the unique situation. It's always like you have three brothers playing at a high level. The conversation is about how one day the three brothers should play together. I'm sure the Kachucks people are talking about at one point, or
Sure.
Meyer won the cup together. Like when Stalls at 1.2 and we're playing together. It's a conversation. It's not a priority. I mean, those are things that people bring up to us, or it's discussed here and there. But maybe eventually, who knows? I really don't know if and when it's going to happen. But I was surprised when Jimmy mentioned it, and that's why everyone thought Quinn was being traded to Jersey, and surprised when he ended up in Minnesota.
Yeah. How many teams were really in it towards the end? Like how many?
Jimmy
how many
they were
teams
talking
really
the six.
how
Yeah.
many teams really presented a package that Vancouver would have accepted?
Would have accepted or presented a package at say 6 teams, 5 to 6 teams, with conversations about assets and pieces going back and forth. Which I don't know all the pieces. I have a pretty good idea in certain situations, but I didn't. So I would say six teams were in it.
Sorry to cut you off there. I wasn't trying to. I just want to make sure I was asking the question right.
You're good.
How's Jack doing? And
Jack's doing great.
He'll be good to go come Olympic time?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Jack's doing great. He's doing great actually. He's rehabbing very well, and I'm very confident. He's definitely going to be back. Probably sometime in January. Right around that time. No, he's doing fantastic.
That's why your job's so crazy, Pat. You never know what kind of phone call you're going to get. I mean, like, where were you when you got the phone call that he cut his hand and he had to go and have surgery?
Well, I was actually first time in my life. My wife and I went to Barbados to visit some friends. We were far from California, actually, and I was on the East Coast for a while. Quick story. And so I was tired. I was in bed. My wife met me there. She was still on California time, 4 hours difference, so she could fall asleep. It was 1:30 in the morning in Barbados when she got a text. I was sleeping, and she woke me up. She couldn't sleep. If she was sleeping, we would have found her the next day. And that night, I got on the phone with Jack and with Fitzy. It was horrible news. And I was up for 2 hours that night. And the next morning, I didn't really sleep much. I was on the phone with doctors immediately, with Dr. Hotchkiss, great hand specialist, one of the best in the world. And that's why I say about what we do. It's sometimes 24/7. You got to be equipped to do this job. You got to be connected to the right doctors, to the right people. It's not just negotiating a contract. And that's a pure example, Andy, that I had to jump in. And within 20 hours, Jack was getting surgery. And it was an important surgery. If we would wait 3-4 days more, Who knows? The ligament might have moved a little bit more. Anyway, it was one of those where we're happy that we got it done within the first day.
Yeah. Total freak accident, right? Just
Total freak.
yeah. I've heard that from other players too. I know everyone tried to speculate. Oh, he must have been doing something crazy. Then
it's always gonna be that. But total
yeah.
freak, so terrible. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's having an incredible year. I just want to see him stay healthy and have a great Olympics and all that. Big Jack Hughes fan, man. One out of every 9-year-olds in the country has a Jack Hughes jersey, just so you know. So
yeah. Jack's got what it takes. I mean, he's great to watch. He's got swag. He's got a great personality. He's branding himself well. I mean, all the above.
All right, last thing for you. And it was good to see Jonathan Taves. I saw him the other day, obviously playing for Winnipeg, so he's back playing. Yeah. Patrick Kane's still doing his thing. So a lot of your guys are still doing their thing. Now, Macklin Celebrini, he's on the Olympic team, right? If you had to guess, how do you keep him off?
I mean, if I had to guess,
he's on
100%.
100%.
For me personally, yes, it's a no-brainer. I mean, 19-year-old, so complete. He could play anywhere. He could play top six. He could play in the third line. He could play
PK, whatever.
He is so special, so unique, special. 18, 19, what he's doing in this league, it's a lot of similarities to Sidney. It's not easy for every first overall pick 18-year-old to be that dominant. I mean, some takes 2-3 years, which respectfully, it should be. It should take 2-3 years. But what he does and what he's been doing and how he's attacking the game, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's crazy. Phenomenal. I mean, and Jay Pandolfo, to his credit, I remember talking to him when Macklin was there. I said, "What's the comparison?" And he wasn't getting a ton of attention. I mean, people inside hockey obviously all knew how great he was and how good he could be. He said he's like Sidney Crosby, So
He's right. I saw that. I had the privilege to watch him at Shattuck in Chicago Steel. He played with my youngest, and I saw so much of Sidney in Macklin at age 14, 15. Just the way on and off the ice, same thing. Just take care of his teammates, competes to the another level.
Yeah.
Shows up to the rink like with desperation to be the best, and playing and practicing with a purpose.
Yeah. You were at Shattuck with my buddy Dave Webster, so like from St. Louis.
Yeah, for sure. We had a great time.
I know. I hear all about it, man. That's awesome.
What a great place.
I know. Who's the best 15-year-old you've ever seen in your life?
Best 15,
16-year-old. Who's the best one? I mean, outside of Sid, maybe, because people
outside of Sid, because I miss McDavid a little bit. He was special when I first saw him play. Macklin was be up there too. What the Gavin MacKinnon did in the last few years. I mean, I would say outside of Sid, you might bring a name up to me and say, "Oh, I forgot him." You know what I mean? Because sometimes they're so dominant at 15.
I know they are.
Or dominant. I've seen players dominating at 15, and they were nowhere to be found at 21.
I know. Why is that? It just
so many factors. Some
physical maturity, all that type.
Physical maturity.
Do you have Gavin MacKinnon? Is he your guy?
Yeah, Gavin.
Okay, good. Yeah, I mean, he's at Penn State doing his thing. Listen, NCAA, people need to know it's different. It's a different animal than playing junior. You know what I mean?
I give him a lot of credit. He was dominating the Western Hockey League last year, almost 2 points a game. And for him to make a decision to get out of his comfort zone and go play at NCAA, and learning and wanting to be challenged, and I give him a lot of credit. I'm a huge fan, obviously, but his hockey IQ is off the charts. People haven't seen yet what this kid's going to be. I mean, I know size-wise, he's not Macklin was like probably 195. He's bigger, stronger, but we got to give him time. I mean, McKenna's mindset and his vision and his hockey IQ is off the charts.
Yeah. Last thing for you. Anything CBA related that you would change? Anything that, that you kind of like you can get on your soapbox about the schedule this year? I mean, it's crazy. Although
The schedule is going to be an issue. I think it's not 84 games next year. The training camp shorter. I mean, it's a lot. Like I've seen some teams with 13 or 14 games in 22 games, 22 days. That's a lot. I mean, there's a lot more injuries to the. We want the revenues to go up. I mean, but we gotta be careful with. I mean, the schedule is key. I mean, CBA related. I mean, when you discuss CBA stuff, it's easier to pinpoint what you don't like, but there's a reason why it's a give and take all the
yeah,
time. I think it's in a good place. I think what I like about the approach right now is let's grow the revenues. Let's grow. Let's go from 6.5 billion to hopefully 8 billion to 10 billion. Sports is growing. Look at the values of sports franchises. I mean, it's skyrocketing.
crazy.
It's the only thing we can't control anymore. Sports is where you don't know where the ball or the puck is going. Everything else is controlled by AI, pretty much. We're in a great game, so to speak.
Yeah.
The game of sports.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. How's Brendan doing? He's good.
He's
Former
good.
first round
He's
pick
good.
in Vegas.
Yeah, no, he's grinding it. He's learning, the game. In the American League, it's not an easy league, and you got to continue to be consistent. It's you're growing as a player. That's the only way to look at it, and hopefully you get your opportunity at the appropriate time. I mean, it's not an easy thing, and but he's doing his thing. So
yeah, okay. All the best, man. Merry Christmas to you and your family. Are you heading up to the World Juniors at all? Or are you?
Yeah, Bobby, there. The last quarterfinals, final, probably semifinals and finals. So
okay.
Good luck to your son too with hopefully one of the brick teams.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah,
it's a great experience.
I know.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
so.
would be great. So we'll see how that goes. But appreciate it, Pat. You know that, man. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks, Andy. Anytime.
Okay. Have a great day. Yep.
You
take
too.
care.
Take care. You too.
All right. Jamal Mayers and the Hizzy.
What's this? Is a new sponsor for you? What is that?
No, that's Cameron Strict Podcast.
Oh, new logo.
Yeah, new logo.
I like it.
Thank you. We just had Pat Brisson on.
Awesome. My former agent.
Is he your, like, what did he do for you? Like, what separates him, you think, from all the other agents? You think, not all the other agents. There's a lot of really good ones out there, but what makes him unique?
I think he is very well connected, obviously, in the league. Played junior with Mario. Real smart hockey guy and very personable. I remember my agent was Larry Kelly. I hadn't seen him. He hadn't seen me play for a while. Friends with Mark Bergevin. Bergie said, why don't you give Pat a call? Without him being my agent, I talked to him for 45 minutes. I haven't talked to my agent in 5 years for that long. Had a great conversation with him and ended up going with him. But yeah, just a real smart hockey guy.
What's that conversation like? What are you guys discussing for 45 minutes? Is he going over your game, your career, your life?
Well, like I was at the time coming out of a contract, and I knew, I'd been with the Blues for a long time, and I had a theory on how to get Larry Plow to get where we wanted to be on my next contract, and he kind of agreed. So we kind of put that plan in place.
So he negotiated your last deal with the Blues.
One of them, yeah, the last couple maybe, but he certainly helped in that regard. I wasn't able. Quick story. So Larry Kelly hadn't seen me play in 3 or 4 years. He's my agent.
Yeah,
I had him for 7 years. So I decided I'm going to go to Ottawa to get his attention and golf with him. Well, Freddie Brathwaite also lives in Ottawa. So we decided to go golfing, the 4 of us, because I wanted to spend time with my agent to have time to be able to, get to some agreement on what the plan is going forward in the summer. Well, he doesn't golf with me. He golfs with his friend, and I'm with Freddie. So we don't even talk. We golf. On the flight home, I sent him an email and fired him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And that was Larry Kelly?
Yes.
Okay.
And you know what? He had his family cemetery business. He was engulfed in that. I don't blame him. Really nice guy. But
you just needed for your situation and where you were in your career, you needed a little more of a hands-on approach.
I did. At that point, I did need a little bit of, and I think our strategy worked. We, Pat and I had created a plan where, Pat would say that there are other teams interested in trading for me, and because I'd been with the Blues for a long time, like 7 or 8 years at that time, and sometimes you just get comfortable, and so you want to let them know, like, hey, this is an asset that you should covet.
Right.
He fits well in your bottom 6, and and it actually worked out well.
Okay. Good for you. I think that was a 3-year deal at 1.3 or 1.4.
Yeah,
Jamal Mayers
you're right.
time, because I think I broke that story back then.
You probably did, Scoops.
Back in the day.
Hey, I was like 7th on the board TSN for
Yeah.
the.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, that's
It's funny.
hilarious.
Somebody was like chirping one another. Oh no, it was like they're telling me a story. It involved Pavel Buchnevich, maybe Chris Kreider. They were like, one guy was like 12th on the
Right.
board, one guy was first on the board or something, or second on the
That's
board. I
funny.
mean, they were like referring to each other based on where they were
Yeah.
on the trade deadline board. St. Louis, man, they just cannot put that run together. Like, you win a game, you feel like, okay, going into New York last night, they get the first goal of the game, and maybe they're going to be able to sweep another back-to-back, which they've done. They've actually been pretty good in back-to-backs this season, and just couldn't get it done on home ice. But they get the point. They're only 3 points out of a playoff spot.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, like, if you're the team, what's your mindset right now? Are you saying we're only 3 points out? Or are you saying, God, how have we really struggled and been as inconsistent as we have been?
Surprisingly, I'm going to go the positive route. That's how it would be if I was in the
Yeah.
trenches with these guys. And for me, the nice positive thing is that both goaltenders have seemed to have found their groove, and that's the most important thing.
Because that wasn't the issue early
Right?
on.
It was an issue early on, right? The consistency of the goaltending. Now that I'm hoping that has been resolved
Mhm.
for both of them. Assuming that is the case, now you don't have to question yourself. Now you can trust. Now you can play on your toes. And now you can, as a group, start to get into that groove. But when you have that most important component that's inconsistent, you start to question your offensive instinct. You start to question your neutral zone forecheck. You start to question your defensive structure. So for me, having that goaltending position back where everyone thought think it
Covers
should
up
be,
a lot of things.
covers up some holes, covers up mistakes, and now guys can play on their toes. And if it stays the way it has recently,
Mhm.
I think that I think the West is wide open.
It is.
And so there's an opportunity to wash away all the negativity and find a way to have a good second half and get into the playoffs.
I know, because San Jose loses last night, a team that obviously you've been working with, and you're very familiar with that team.
Mhm.
You got the Utahs, you have Chicago now without Bedard. I mean, there's just a lot of teams that are kind of in that mix that haven't recently been able to stay in there, and you just wonder, are they going to fall off? Are they going to be able to sustain it and stay in the mix? And in St. Louis, you just wonder if, as you get down the stretch, Jamal, the last 30 games or so, does experience matter? Teams who have been there, who know what it takes to push, versus the teams who maybe have a younger core who haven't been in that situation before.
Yes, it matters. It matters. I think that, first of all, if the Sharks make the playoffs, Macklin Celebrini for me is the Hart Trophy winner, because the definition of Hart Trophy for me is the most valuable player to their team. And if they get into the playoffs, he's the Hart Trophy winner to me.
Mm-hmm.
Whether he finishes 5th in scoring in the league or he finishes 2nd.
You're saying Hart Trophy for
I think
Macklin Celebrini.
if they make the playoffs,
Yeah.
look at what he's doing.
Okay.
Look what he's doing.
Second year in the league. Crazy.
Yeah, it is really crazy.
And I just
19 years
talked to
old.
Pat Brisson about him at length
Right.
too, man. I mean, he's represents him, so
It's really impressive what he's been able to do and be able to play on both sides of the puck. Having said that, I 1,000% agree with you. The veteran-laden teams are going to handle the tougher hockey that it takes to, as you head into February and March, especially with the condensed schedule coming out of the Olympics. It's going to be an absolute sprint to the finish, and it's not going to be easy. And I think that the teams that's why you listen to a lot of pundits. They're as tough of a start to the season as it's gone for the Blues. A lot of people are saying, do not count out the Blues.
No, I know.
That they will find a way. And so, I think that has to be their focus is just to wash away what happened. The real challenge for me is the organization. What do they do if they do make a nice run? And when you get toward, the trade deadline, what does this team do? Do they try to shed some of the veteran players and get some assets and kind of retool? Or do they reward them? Do they add like that? Like, I don't know. The body of work up until this point can't be discounted for where this group is.
Everyone would suggest right now you're automatically selling, right?
Right.
But at the same time, I mean, it is Doug Armstrong's final year as a general manager. He's still going to be with the organization as
Right.
president. But the expectations were so high. The mindset coming into the season was playoffs, continue to build off of what you did last year, which they made the playoffs, almost advanced to round 2. So now it's going into this year, hey, we can win a round.
Yeah.
That's the mindset. And should the first 30 games completely change that when really all they are is about a 3 or 4 game winning streak away from being back in the playoffs?
I think there's 2 factors at play here. How many points are you out? But not just that. So let's say there's 6 or less points out.
How many teams you have to jump?
How many teams do you have to?
And now all of a sudden they keep climbing. There's only like 1 team, I think, between them and a wild card spot, maybe 2.
Right. So it'll be interesting. I don't envy. I mean, who is making that decision, right? Like, who is making that decision?
Well, Doug
Is it
Armstrong's
Steiner
making the
or is
decision.
it Army?
You know what? And people have asked me that question, and I will say, obviously, Alexander Steen's got to be involved, especially if you're moving future pieces when he's taking over as GM next year.
Right.
But they've been working so close together for the last couple of years that, like, I truly believe they're in lockstep. It doesn't mean that they agree on everything, but I will say this: I don't think Doug Armstrong would make a move that Alexander Steen completely was against making. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like they may not. It may take some convincing, maybe for certain things, to convince Army or to convince Steiner or whatever. However, that dynamic is of how they work together. But if one guy's completely against it, I just don't see Doug Armstrong just doing that, knowing that Alexander Steen is going to have to inherit this team. And if there's a piece that he wants, that he thinks is a big part of the future, that he's like, hey, do not move this guy. I just don't see Army doing it.
Okay, so then what you're saying to me is that the tie goes to Steiner.
Mm-hmm.
If they're disagreeing, the tie go to Steiner, which I agree with.
Well, the tie could go to Army too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I just think, again, I think they're closer to being on the same page than I think most people realize. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that's an issue, to be honest with you. Now, they're going to have varying opinions on certain players and whatever, but again, it's an organizational decision, if that makes sense, without having a cop-out for an answer. I just think if it's something so drastic that one guy completely is just so against, they wouldn't do it.
Okay. It'll be interesting to see because I think, at the end of the day, I think Steiner might see things on a different time horizon, 5 to 7 years perhaps, than probably what Army's looking at. I think that.
But they all want to make the playoffs too, right?
Yeah, but that at what cost?
Mm-hmm.
You make the playoffs to win a round or lose a first round when you could set yourself up going forward. I mean, there's some decisions that are going to have to be made with some key guys that are on the blue line, some guys that are up front,
leadership
guys that you have to make sure you don't leave the group depleted,
right?
And take out let's be honest, you take out Shen from that room, what does that do to the group?
And you got to make room now for some guys who are coming in. I mean, you look at the roster right now, and like Stenberg, the way that he's playing, Dvorsky, the way that he's played, like, why wouldn't you just keep him here? You know what I'm saying? Assuming Stenberg can sustain what we've seen the last couple of games, Jamal, this guy is like, he looks like he's played 250 games in the league. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so. I always try to look at games 10 through 20.
Right. 100%. Because I said this about Fabry, about Berggren. It's like, your first couple of games, you're running on adrenaline. You want to make an impression, whatever. It's like, okay, where are you now? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games in, when that adrenaline and that newness wears off, and now all of a sudden you gotta like be able to bring it every single day and bring it in practice, and the grind kind of comes into play, and that freshness and that adrenaline kind of wears off.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see. I think that those are good problems to have, and sometimes with injuries, it gives guys opportunities, and so it's incumbent upon those guys to take that and make the organization make alternate routes.
And
choices.
Let's focus on the names that are out there, though. Like between Shan, Bennington, Falk, all these guys that you keep hearing about. It's not like they're forced to have to make a decision right now either. None of these guys are like UFAs this summer where you're saying, okay, we can't afford to lose them for nothing, So if you do play your way into the playoffs and you decide to hang on to these guys, and maybe, who knows, maybe even add a piece, who knows, if this team catches fire, and some people would say, like, how are they going to catch fire? Well, they did it last year. They've done it before. Doesn't mean they're going to do it again this year, but 3 points out, catching fire could mean winning 3 games in a row. You know what I mean?
Right.
Winning 5 out of 6, 6 out of 7, something like that. And then now all of a sudden your mentality changes. Falk's been playing at a great level all season long. Shem, we all know how important he is. If Bennington, shows that consistency, and all of a sudden he puts the team on his back, you're not moving him. So again, these pieces are all available to move either in the summer or even into next year and still get assets back, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. I think that those are all the things that they're balancing, and
What's the
and
rush? You know what I mean?
yeah, I think that you're right. I think because they're not on expiring contracts, it gives you a little bit more flexibility, and there's no reason why to say that you couldn't adjust and pivot even in the summer and make those decisions in the summertime. So,
Yeah.
um, it'll be interesting. I think that their play will dictate a lot of that, and but I think the players are focused on getting into the playoffs and getting on a run and playing the right way.
The thing is, you just added 2 players who don't look like they're coming out of the lineup in Berggren and Stenberg. Now, that could easily change. I mean, Fabry looked good the first couple of games. Didn't really have a training camp, played 2 games down a PTO in the American League, and, he was scratched last night, like, on the second half of a back-to-back. Didn't play in the final, 10, 11 minutes or whatever it was. In the game before that, in the third period, you know what I mean? Like, his game is kind of, again, he was really good the first couple of games, then maybe didn't have the juice in his legs, as Jim Montgomery put it. So now you're going to get Kyrou back, maybe as early as tomorrow, potentially on this road trip. You're going to get Snuggerud back relatively soon. So somebody's going to have to leave. Right?
Yeah.
If Berggren and Stenberg just came in and they played their way into solidifying 2 spots in your top 12, among your 12 forwards, then when Kyrou and Snuggerud come back, I mean, somebody's going to have to come out of the lineup. So
I think that's a good thing. It's a good thing for organization. It's a good thing for the competition, internal competition for ice time, and that's the biggest commodity that obviously that Jim Montgomery has is. I always used to joke is I don't have to be friendly necessarily with my coach. I know what he thinks of me is by how much I'm playing, and so I think there's opportunity when a team is struggling. There's opportunity the most, in my opinion, for young players. For young players to steal someone's job.
Not as much pressure.
Not as much pressure. Just go out there and play and be excited that you are getting this chance. And doesn't matter if you're getting it because of injury. Doesn't matter how you're getting it. Go out there and change their plan for you.
Yeah. And Falk's having a great year. And you're right about Shen. I mean, even you see some of the barking going back and forth between benches last night. He's the one. He's just the one player that you can tell that opposing teams just. They have the instant respect for him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's a veteran guy who's a legit player. You're not chirping him. You know what I mean? You can, but there's not many guys on that roster, at least up front offensively, that he can bark back and it's okay, now it's time to shut the F up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's the alpha that we could argue that he doesn't and shouldn't fight as much as he does, and I think that's a fair thing, but he plays with that emotion. He's that driver. He cares about the team. He does the right things.
But he sticks up for his teammates. I mean, if guys are abusing his teammates, even verbally.
Yeah, I love it. I want to relearn that from his big brother.
From you?
No, from his big brother.
Oh, his brother, yeah.
From Luke. And so they're cut from the same cloth.
His actual big brother, yeah.
Yeah. So it's not surprising. I think that, and he'll give credit to veterans and players that had been around his entire career, but he was always that person that cared and that had the ability to do that.
And that's where you get back to Army and Steen. That's just where Steen comes in. He has such a great feel for the dynamic of the locker room, of the team. He's so fresh out of the game. One of his closest friends has always been Steve Ott, right? Who's on the coaching staff. He knows Monty. He's around the team a lot. He's got a good feel.
Absolutely. And I think the best thing for him in hindsight for his career is that he's virtually done every role, right? And so he's been a top 6 guy. He's been a checker, penalty killer, power play guy. He's been on the bottom part of the lineup as well, making the depth better. And he's won. He brings a lot to the table, and he's a great person that cares. And so all that experience, it shapes how he thinks about the game. It shapes what he's seeing and how he's taking the information in. And I think it's going to make him a tremendous general manager.
That was Marty St. Louis' first ever speech to his players. He's like, I've been through what every single player in this locker room has been through. I've been traded. I've been waived. I was not drafted. I've been an all-star. I've been a Hart Trophy winner. I won a Stanley Cup. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been on the fourth line. I've been in the minors. I've been sent down. Everything.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And not many guys can say that when you
No.
include the Hart Trophy and all that, right?
Not at all.
Not many
at all.
Hart Trophy winners were also like undrafted or put on waivers.
No, it's a unicorn.
Yeah. And like, you think players that resonates? Wow, this guy, like, he gets everybody.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's, you know what? That's Marty. I was lucky. We were seniors in college. He was at Vermont. Team Canada picked 4 college seniors to go to the Spengler Cup. He and I were, there's a defenseman, I forget, from Northeastern. He and I were the 2 forwards, a defenseman and a goalie from Maine. And we lived together in Davos for 3 weeks in this like apartment. And I started on the 4th line. It's the professional tournament.
Mhm.
We ended up winning the tournament.
And they only took 4 college kids.
Only took 4 college kids.
So you had to miss college games for that?
Yeah, I had to miss like 3 or 4 games.
Okay.
And he
Did you study? Did you bring your books?
No. It was unbelievable in Davos, like for
How
that
beautiful
time.
is it?
And it was absolutely magical. The mountains right there. And we ended up winning the tournament. And I started on the 4th line in that tournament. I finished on the 4th line. Marty started on the 3rd line, and he ended up on the 2nd or 1st line.
Really?
That's how good he was. So
you knew even then?
I knew then that, he ended up in Calgary in the minors, but you kept thinking like, how does no one see this? This guy's unbelievable.
You never played with him though, right? Anywhere? Even
Never played with him.
Calgary.
No,
right?
just that was the only time that we played together. But we won a Spengler Cup together, and
Oh, you guys won it.
yeah, and it bonded us. So like,
Any other NHL guys on that team or no?
oh yeah, like a lot of veterans that had left, like Dan Daou.
Okay.
The defenseman that was there, college kid, was Dan McGillis,
Okay.
and then I forget the goalie's name from Maine. But Lebeau, Stéphane Lebeau.
Okay.
There's a lot of NHL players that were playing over in Switzerland
Mhm.
that were on that team.
You didn't consider going to play in Europe when you were done playing in the NHL? Like, I feel like you would have been a really good.
Well, skating
Swiss
would have been
player.
fine, but I was 38, dude.
I
Like,
know.
what am I gonna do? Like, also had the opportunity to do some
Yeah, I know.
stuff with
Walk into
NHL
some stuff.
Network, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah, you were 38, but like
So-
you would have been like a Swiss superstar.
well, I don't know about that, but I could skate. That game was easy. Like, there's no hitting. It's like,
Yeah. Skating is
it's a fun game.
Oh, I bet it's beautiful.
I always put up numbers surprisingly over in those tournaments.
Yeah.
Canada.
Yeah.
A little more space.
A little more space. Anything else catching your attention? Are you excited about the World Juniors and all that coming up? And
I am. I think Canada's got a heck of a roster. It's scary to think for both countries. I think
Mhm.
Canada and U.S. There's so many unbelievable young players now that the quality of hockey from 10, 15 years ago at the World Juniors,
yeah,
I'm sorry, it's unbelievable.
it's like pro hockey.
It's unbelievable. These guys are like ready to play in the
They're so good.
NHL. And so it's fun to watch. It's a massive tournament in Canada. I think the U.S. and they win back-to-back.
I think they have.
Yeah, so this is
Absolutely.
an opportunity for them
I
to
know.
repeat. And
Hopefully they can do it.
Canada's going to try to stop them.
What did you think of the Quinn Hughes trade?
Great for both. I really am a huge fan of ZBM.
I like him too.
But you have to give up something special to get
Mhm.
a player. Very happy for obviously Billy Guerin and in their group. I think they put themselves in the conversation. They're probably 1 or 2 forwards short from.
playing
I mean, I know they
unbelievable,
got to
too.
go up against Dallas and Colorado, and that's the big talk. But I'll tell you what, he changes things. He shifts things in their favor in a lot of instances.
It's risky, like if they don't re-sign him and they don't win.
Yes.
And you just gave up essentially. Like,
To his credit, think about what he's done in signing Kaprizov, understanding that you have to draft and retain your players. You're not attracting. Minnesota's an unbelievable place to play, but it's very difficult to attract players to come.
Does that change now?
And so now
Keep him?
a little bit, but what he's done is you have to like retain, and you have to have some guts and make some trades to make a run, right?
Yeah.
Like, so,
and he has that.
like
Man.
I love that about. If
I mean,
you're
he
a
just
player,
traded essentially like 4 first-round picks.
right? But if
I-
they go get another like I like to see them go get Nazem Kadri. They go get Naz, they insulate their group. They're going to be tough to play against.
Mhm.
That like, because what they should be thinking about is how are we going to match up against Colorado, right? Like,
Mhm.
not going to be easy. But that he's putting himself in an unbelievable position to see if this team can make a run.
Yeah. Okay. Good stuff, man. All right. Who brought you to Hockey Sense this week?
Well, dude, Bartolinos, we all know, 5 restaurants, Bartolinos South, Bartolinos Osteria, Chris's Pancake and Dining, and Chris is at the docket. And Bartolinos Twin Oaks. They forge many lasting relationships with their customers. Their family motto, cook good food, serve plenty. 50+ years in business. Only 2 places to dine: at home or at one of Bartolino's family of restaurants.
Beautiful. What about Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers?
Well, dude, if it's winter, sometimes it doesn't feel like winter. We had snow out there. Let me tell you about the good folks over at Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers, locally operated since 1976, and today the area's largest retailer of tires and expert auto service. Now at 43 locations, Dobbs is offering winter tire deals on best brands like Goodyear, plus other money-saving deals on Cooper, Continental, PF Goodrich, all kinds of tires. Go to Dobbs.com for more information, especially now when it's winter out there. You got to rotate your tires. You got to get those winter tires on there. Keep your family safe. That's right, buddy. You know it's coming. You're going to be hanging out in my backyard, aren't you? Spas and More, local master spas dealer with 2 locations, Sunset Hills in Missouri and Overland Park in Kansas City. Mike Leahy is the owner of Spas and More. It's an American hot tub swim. Master Spas is an American hot tub and swim spa manufacturer located in Fort Wayne, Indiana. They're the largest hot tub and swim spa manufacturer in the U.S. You know about the Michael Phelps, Chili Goat tubs.
Mm-hmm.
Angie Hess, Mike's daughter, and Brian Oldham run the Sunset Hills location. Spas and More offers high-quality hot tubs, swim spas, cold tubs, infrared saunas, and for all of your health, wellness, and relaxation needs. Turn your backyard into the oasis of your dreams with a master spas from Spas and More. Spas and More, located at 12957 Gravois Road in Sunset Hills, where we put the in spa.
I love it. I love it. Hey, Cross Country Mortgage, call Mark Cooper today, 314-713-4377. They close more loans than anybody else in the country. You know that?
That's huge.
1 out of every 32 loans closed in the country are closed with Cross Country Mortgage. First responders, your mortgage is covered up to $525,000. So if you are critically injured in the line of duty, or even worse than that, you can go to sleep peacefully at night knowing that your family's taken care of and that your mortgage is covered up to $525,000.
I love that.
I do too. Mark Cooper, this guy does it and flat out gets it done. 314-713-4377. Of course, our friends over at First Community, who brings us hockey sense each and every week. Shop with added peace of mind this holiday season with card controls. You know what that means? You receive real-time notification anytime your First Community credit card or debit card is used. So, when it's being used. You can get that set up so if your wife's using it too. You get the
Look at you.
you get that notification if they're using the card. Even turn off your card right from your mobile device if it's lost or stolen. So how nice is that? So go to firstcommunity.com to get more information there. Of course, our friends over at First Community, who brings us hockey sense each and every week. Kirkwood Fence. Because we all know your yard isn't private without a good fence. You may think that it's private. You don't have a fence.
But you must have got a new fence.
It's not private. Hey, schedule a free consultation with one of the experts from Kirkwood Fence and do that today. Kirkwoodfence.com. Enjoy your fence for years knowing it has a craftsmanship warranty. So give them a call. Check out first kirkwoodfence.com. You can talk to Ben. Everybody over there, they'll take care of you.
And good luck to Ty this weekend.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. And Blue Note Roofing, 314-920-5713. What are the plans for Christmas?
Oh,
are you making Christmas Eve dinner? What are you making?
Tenderloin.
Okay.
Prime tenderloin, big beef tenderloin. And I'm going to do a rib roast, mac and cheese,
rib roast,
broccoli casserole.
Yeah, I thought about doing like a brisket, but it takes too long.
Oh, no. Buddy, rib roast. Unbelievable.
Rib roast.
Oh, yeah.
What is a rib roast exactly?
It's roast. It's
like prime rib type thing?
Yeah, prime rib. Prime rib, you know what cut that is?
Yeah. What?
It's not a New York. It's not a filet.
It's a prime rib?
No, but what kind of steak is there other than that?
It's not a filet.
No, it's not a New York.
It's not a New York. It's a ribeye.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay.
It's a big ribeye.
Just a big ribeye.
Basically.
Okay.
And you slice it.
Easy to
horseradish
slice.
sauce.
Because brisket, you got to trim it.
No. Look it up or I'll send you a recipe.
Yeah.
Do yourself a favor. Make a 3-bone rib roast.
I thought about doing that or just
unbelievable.
Making a bunch of steaks from Paul's Market. I'm trying to figure all that out.
I would figure it out quick.
Well, I'm going up there Tuesday to get everything I need.
There you go.
Yeah. And how long does everything stay good in the fridge before you cook it?
You're good for a couple of days.
You think it's good until
you got to salt the
Christmas Eve's Wednesday.
You got to salt the prime rib and put it in the fridge for 24 hours.
Oh, you do?
With open air. And that
Just rub it with salt all over.
salt.
Good sea salt, yeah.
Yeah, and then that, keeps all the
Okay.
juices in. And
All right.
yeah.
Merry Christmas to everybody out there.
Yes.
Aiden, Alex, Maddie, everybody here at Half Coast Studios. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We'll be back in 2 weeks
Let's do it.
for another edition of Hockey Sense. We go year round. Live from Half Coast Studios. Happy holidays, everybody.